Morning class. Hopefully everyone already has out their homework and a pen to grade in. Just keep in mind, if you did not complete your homework in pencil, please ask the sub to just sign off on that to make sure you had them all complete, and then grade in a different type of writing utensil so I can see what you had to make corrections on. We are just going to grade homework for participation today. So if you completed every single problem, go ahead and give yourself a 4 out of 4. For every problem you did not do, you should take off a half a point. So if you did not do one problem, you're going to give yourself a 3.5 out of 4. If you didn't do 2 problems, you'll give yourself a 3 out of 4. If you didn't do 3, it's a 2.5. If you didn't do 4, it's a 2. If you didn't do 5, it'll be a 1.5. If you didn't do 6, it'll be a 1. If you didn't do 7, it'll be a 0.5. And if you didn't do 8, it will be a 0. Obviously, that means you could do 4 problems and still get a 0, but this homework should not have taken you that long. If it did take you a long time, that means you're probably not doing very good at finding common factors. So you should plan some time to come into core time so we can work on that. So answers. Number 1, we're prime factoring. So again, it doesn't matter what you split it into. So you could have split it into something else. I'm going to split it into 6 and 8. As long as it is the correct multiples. We'll continue breaking this down. Okay, and at the end, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 2s and a 3. If you picked different multiples, you should still end up with that same list in the end. Number 2, we'll split up 36. So we'll have a 2 times a 2 times a 3 times a 3, and then we can't forget the x to the third, so 3 x's. Number 4, even if you say 105 is a large number, right, you should at least know, okay, it ends in a 5, so it's divisible by 5, and then just type that into your calculator. 5 is prime, but 21 is 3 and 7. So 3 times 5 times 7, we have 4 x's and 2 y's. Number 4, so we're looking something that will go into 25, that will also go into 15, so we can pull out a 5. They do not both have the x, so we can't do anything there, so we'll check and make sure we're completely out. So it'll be a 5x and a 3. Nothing else goes into those, so our GCF will be 5. 40 and 22, those are both even, so I know I can divide by a 2, which goes to 20 and 11. I can only do one with 20 and 11, so I'm done, so my GCF will be 2. 3, 12, and 17. I can't really think of anything, so the only thing I can pick here is 1, so my GCF is going to be 1. Number 7, they all end in a 0 or a 5, so I can divide them all by 5. Again, even if you say, okay, these are really big numbers, then just go to your calculator and do 120 divided by 5. Save yourself the time with the other pieces and let your calculator help you where you can. Okay, so that takes us to 36, 33, and 24. These are all divisible by 3. So 8, 11, 12. Can't go any further, so I multiply these. 5 times 3 is 15. $28 and 44. Oh, this pen doesn't work very great. So again, these both have the variable, but we're just going to focus on the numbers first. So 4 will go into each of them. They do both have the x. The smaller exponent is 3. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. 3 minus 3 is none left. 44 divided by 4 is 11. 7 minus 3 is 4. Only 1 there, so my GCF is 4x to the third. Let's see, 46 and 92. I'm highly guessing that most of you picked 46 and saw that to start with. So I'm guessing most of you started small with maybe just a 2x squared y. So when we divide here, we'll get a 23 x to the third y squared. And a 46. Those cancel out. So usually at this point, my students will see the 23. Nothing else will go into those, so we're going to multiply these two, so we'll get 46x squared y. 27, 72, and 108. Maybe you saw the 9 to start with because 27 and 72, they do not all have an A. They do not all have a B. They do not all have a C. Three, 8, and 12. Nope, so our GCF is just 9. Um, 18, 54, and 26, or 126. Let's say maybe on this one we had to start smaller. Again, every problem you look at, you might see it differently, so there isn't really a right or wrong starting point. Just depends on what you kind of see. I'm just trying to show some different representations of what you all might have done. Hopefully at this point we would see the 9. And then we could multiply these and we'd say 18z to the 4th. Finally on the last one, 14, 70, and 126. Hopefully if we saw 14 and 70, we would think 7. So we could take that 126 and try 7, and it does work. So A's, they do all have an A. B, they all have a B. C, they all have a C. So I'm choosing the smallest exponent. C's cancel. 10, A's cancel. 126 divided by 7 is 18. A2, B's cancel. So then 2, 10, and 18, we could divide those by 2. Can't go any further, so we multiply. So we will get 14, A to the 3rd, B to the 4th, C to the 3rd. So next I want you to pull out a sheet of paper. We are going to take some notes. You're going to pass all of your papers forward. Make sure your name is on it. Make sure your grade is on it. Pass that forward. The sub is going to collect them. And then get out something for notes. We are going to do some notes over factoring out a GCF.